Welcome to Movified. My name is Mark Hirschi, owner of Salmon's Moving in Stores located in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We are here at the Moving Titan Retreat. It is day 2. We're so excited, and I have one of the OG guests, the one that helped me start it all, one of the first interviews, Mario Reyes from Southbay Moving, located in California. What's up, Mario?
Hey, what's up? What's up? Let's go.
Oh, man, change, sense of change from standing on a golf course with a little iPhone camera and small mic to this.
I'm like, man, it's a production now. Listen, I'm so happy that the show's going good for you. I love it.
I appreciate it. I love having you on.
The production keeps getting better and better, and I'm like, when are we going to put him on TV network?
It's a good cream. It's a good face wash. It's like, yeah.
I'm like, he looks better. I'm getting older. You can look younger. So
we still look great.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to have you on with me and being here at the Moving Titan Retreat. You know, one of the big questions that always has been racing through my mind when I meet individuals like yourself that have been in the industry. What are 5 things you could tell somebody that's starting off their moving company now that you've learned over the years?
One thing I'd say is you definitely, number one is believe in yourself.
Yeah.
I think that that's everything. If you don't have any self-belief, because there's going to be days that you're going to question yourself and you're going to say, hey, man, why am I doing this? Everybody has that. And then I would say second is process-driven. Have your method to your madness. Whatever that madness is, or your process, you have to stay to it and be true to it and say, this is the way that I do business. This is the way ABC Moving and Storage does business from start to finish. Third, I would say transparency with employees. And what I mean by transparency is this. In our industry, we've kind of failed, sorry to say that, the senior members of our industry on showing progressions from the rank and file up to management, because I still love this business after all these years. I've been in it for over 40 years, but we haven't said, okay, you can start as a helper on a truck, you can work your way as a driver, and this is the wages that you'll get, to, hey, you can be a manager, a dispatcher, a general manager, and there's a lot of money in that. Like,
I feel like everybody should have in their office, you know, that transition that you see of like the human evolution, you know, where it started as like a fish to like a monkey, and the monkey turned almost and then turned into like this businessman or whatever it is. That they should have the evolution.
Evolution.
Thank you.
Evolution.
It's been early. It's an early morning workout this morning. But your company, saying, hey, when you start here, this is you as like a helper,
right?
And
correct.
This is this is like the progression that you can be,
exactly.
And then it's like CEO or president at the very end.
Exactly. Like I've got a real good friend of mine, Jake Moreno. I don't think you would mind me mentioning his name. He's actually with a company called Chipman, and he started helper, local dispatcher, driver, general manager, regional vice president, and right now he's COO of a very large United agent.
Right.
And he had a pathway, like, you know, to it, but I don't think everyone realizes that it's some shortcomings and people are just there for the moment. So I think that as owners or supervisors or whatever you're doing out there, you have to show progression. That's third. Fourth is keep training your people. Train yourself and train your people. And every day, try to train for 15 minutes. Self-improvement, training in the industry. If you're an operational guy, learn and study your systems. And 5 is something that I didn't do until recently, is try to journal.
Okay.
I think that that's a journal, so you can go back to see your progress and to see your mistakes.
Right.
And to see how you've evolved, back to the evolution thing,
right,
as a person, as a manager, and a business owner. And I think that a lot of people won't say that because we're going to fall, we're going to fail. It's okay. And I think people don't realize that. They're like, oh, yeah, this guy's up here and he's making... No. Tell me the days that that guy or lady felt like crawling on the ground.
So now, when you're talking about journaling, when did you start doing the journaling?
I only started journal a year ago. And
okay.
And have
you went back? Have you already looked back at something that you wrote down and you're like, oh man, okay, who was this guy a year ago?
No, it's you can see the evolution of it. So I actually use an app called Growth Day, and it helps me. It's a digital app because a lot of people don't want to write because they're like, wow, so what about somebody sees this?
Yeah, right.
So I do it electronically, and then in that same app, it asks you how you felt every day.
Yeah.
And then so I go back and I can see how I felt according to the journaling I did and how many things I accomplished, because there's like a checklist of things you need to do, a to-do list, and then you can see progression. And I think that, and that's it. It's
what's the app called again?
It's called Growth Day. And it's like Growth Day.
This episode is brought to you by Growth Day.
Yeah. It's like, hopefully I'll get a commission for that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought that was good. And and you have to see your progressions, because every day that you have a bad day and you'll have it. And then a 6, even though that you said, is get some coaching and get into a community like this.
Right.
You know, that's the 6, like a 6-man. Movified, anybody in our group. This is the Let's Go group. Get somebody that you can talk to, because you can we all have bad days.
Build that network. Get that community,
get your community together. Absolutely.
In your area. Yeah.
I think that's more important than anything these days.
Now, when you started off, and thanks for these 5 points, when you started off, getting your own moving company, because you were a driver for a while, you worked for another moving companies, everything else. What was one of the biggest struggles that you started off with in the beginning that you reflect on going like, man, if I could turn around and change something, like this was a struggle that I had, and here's the story about it?
Well, it's different. You know what? So, and believe me, I still go through it. I mean, like any other owner, it's just remember that when you're elevating yourself. It doesn't mean that you're better than them or anybody else, but people look at you still as, hey, you're Mark, my friend. You're not Mark, the owner. So I had issues with guys that we always laid down rug runners and door jam protectors. And then when they worked for me, they didn't put anything down. And they're like, oh, it's just Mario.
Right.
So you go through that. And that's something that, like, as a young owners or young guys, you're going to go through. I had a guy that he's a contractor now, and I had to let him go. And he went on a job, and he didn't pad anything. And I was like, what are you doing? Right. And then, so now he's on his own, and he was complaining. He came back to me and he apologized, and he said, I know why you let me go. I'm seeing it for myself now, and some are hard lessons or whatever, but those things have to be mentioned because it's not all hunky dory. You know what I mean? Sure. And
those are sometimes like, with the guys that I've had on the show, where it's that guideline of, having family members part of your business.
Correct.
Having friends.
Exactly.
And when their positions are different and not as senior, you have to lay down the law and you have to decide, is this the right fit for my company to have people involved?
Right.
But you want to. I mean, I remember when I transitioned from one moving company to another, and it was a totally different culture. And a lot of guys from the other moving company were like, hey, can I come and join and be part of this company? And I actually had to say no. And one of the guys, I said, okay, sure. And quickly realized he's not the right fit. I cannot have him part of this company. Sure, he was great over there, but over on this side, it just wasn't, the dynamics were not going to work.
Right.
So it's one of those lessons you learn when you start off of how to hire, what to do, right?
Hire quick, fire quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you have to make a decision.
Hire slow. Isn't it like hiring slowly, like making the right decision? I think you gotta get someone that's going to say, I'm correct.
So yeah, but you know what? I think that
Hunter, you're from Move Up. What is it? It's hire slow,
fire quick,
hire slow, fire quick. Is that like the Move Up motto when you guys are trying to hunt people down?
Well, right now specifically, you are seeing guys that have worked for the same business for the past 10 years, for the first time ever, think about moving on. That person is going to be wanted by so many people. So if you're the first one to offer, it's just like sales opportunity. If you're the first one to offer to that potential client, or in this case, potential candidate, you'll have a better chance of landing that talent. So if you already have built out job description, a built out expectation of what you're looking for, you can hire a lot quicker because you've already figured out those details. I liked what Stephen Reed said yesterday. It's like, you can go on ChatGPT and build that self out. Like, it's not hard. That's where a lot of people take a longer time to hire, is because they don't have those things ready for your franchise player of a candidate that's looking for work. So That's what we're seeing in today's market.
Love it. And this is the great thing about this Titan Retreat for all those listeners and watchers that are tuning in and checking in.
Yes.
There are constant nuggets and players in this field that you can grab and talk to, and everybody wants to share. It is one of those industries that we are trying to turn and we want to build that story for others to go, hey, when you come to these retreats, everybody's equal.
That's true.
There is nobody that's up here or down here. Like, go and chat with people. And the great thing about having this Movified podcast set up, everybody, is I can grab guys like Hunter Monroe to like come out from Move Up Consulting and share some nuggets about hiring processes. And he wasn't even part of the show, but he walked right by.
And so we grabbed him.
That's right. Exactly. That's right.
A referral from a client. This guy right here.
Thank you.
That's right.
Yeah. So we just use Move Up Consultant, and we were happy with them. And we just moved them, and we're happy with our hire. The process was seamless, and we were glad we did it. Now, some people may say, I'm not afraid to stroke a check to get ahead. I mean, you can lament about it and say, oh, you know what? I don't have the cash. And that's really viable. I mean, that's reality. But if it helps you get there faster, I would say do it. Because I think fifth, I said, get coaching in six, our community. It's that's going to help you get further faster. So that's what I think.
Give me another wild story.
Okay. Well, this one's a little bit tamer. It was like, listen, anything happens on a moving job, and we have a whole bunch of characters on a moving job. So this is when I was still in the trucks, and we go by, and this guy says, hey, he said, let me take you back here. We're doing a walkthrough in the house. So let me take you back here. So we go in his garage, and he's got basically not an illegal casino, but he's got like a board, like a crab table. He's got a blackjack table, and then he has like about 8 or 10 slot machines. But they're vintage, like some are more modern, but he said, man, they all work. And he was so proud of him. He was like, hey, man, every single one of these work. And I said, well, what are you doing? And he said, no, it's not a speakeasy, but like sometimes we'll have, like a charity event back here, or I have my friends here. We'll do a little gambling between us, but it's nothing open to the public. And I was like, oh, okay. So then we continue to walk through, and then one of the guys, and I didn't notice, I guess he stayed, and we get right back into the house, and we start to hear so a slot machine was going off, and I was like, oh man. So we ran back outside, and one of my guys, it was one of my crew members, he was shoveling the coins in his pocket. Exactly. And he was playing. And then I said, man, what are you doing? Put that money back. And he said, why? I won. I said, what do you think, you're in Vegas? So, but that's like, I mean, it takes all kinds. And I've got some X-rated stories at one time on our X-rated podcast we'll talk about.
All right.
Yeah, no, I've got a
Movified at night.
Movified at night, at late night.
Yeah. That's funny. It's like the story when you always hear, oh yeah, that customer left some cash on the table and was like testing us.
Right.
Like, oh, this guy laid out the slot machine. He was like the golden nugget. He was like, yeah.
He was like, he puts the coin in and said, but I won.
This was a magical coin just sitting there on the counter. Big testing.
So kind of wild.
That's great.
Well, listen, I just wanted to thank you for having me on again.
So much, Mario. I really appreciate it.
I love the show. I like your audience, and I like how you've been engaged, and I think it's a good thing. So,
and listen, for all the ones that are watching, listening, also, if you're not following Mario and Southbay Movers, get out your phone, start following him, click on everything you can, even on LinkedIn, because Mario throws these like moving network seminars,
yes, I do.
webinars,
yes, I do,
and they are so informative. They really hit some solid areas and targets that we always forget about, that we need to be reminded on, and what needs to be what's present, what needs to be worked on. So definitely, follow it. And what's great is if you do follow him, he always reaches out to you and DMs you, like, hey, this is coming up. This is the link. And I love it because it's like a great reminder. So thank you, Mario. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for mentioning it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Till next time, stay Movified, everybody.
Movified.